Hello, and thank you for joining me. In every spiritual tradition, mystical skill set, and experience that is outside of just our material interactions with things, energy work is the foundational skill that all of these experiences and abilities rely on. Your ability to understand where you're at with your energy work, how your own body is best tuned to different types of energy, what you tend to pick up, what you tend to resist, all of this information becomes more and more important as your sensitivity grows, and you come to understand both what you are called to do and what you are capable of doing. This will both help you understand how to develop and also what kind of community and assistance that you may need as you grow in these abilities. The basis of all energy work is understanding your own personal energy. All of us are different. Part of the thrill of being together and having relationships is getting into the energy of other people and seeing how it affects us, how we transform when we are playing with that energy. So if we know our own energy very well first, then it's easier and more approachable to get into those kind of interactions with others and quickly figure out, is this going to work for me? Is it what I want? Does it match the energy that I need? Or does something feel like it is restricting me in a way that could cause problems, or that is working against the purposes that I feel myself flowing toward? Happens to us all the time. But the more sensitive we are to our own energy, the easier it is to stay in the flow that is truly right for us. I call the foundation meditation because it's a natural term and because it does generally fit. The kind of meditation that I'm referring to here, though, is not one in which you silence yourself completely or try to take yourself out of the reality around you or out of yourself. When you enter this state of quiet, and I would suggest that you do it in a place that is very familiar to you, hopefully the room where you sleep is a good spot because a lot of your energy should be accumulated there. But if that doesn't feel quite right or quite your own, then finding a quiet place or a place with ambient noise and energy that you feel matches you and nourishes you, going to that spot, developing a sense of stillness. That's not to say that you've got to sit cross-legged anywhere or even sit at all. You can do this standing, even swaying, even dancing, as long as the feeling that you're generating in yourself is one of consistency and one that you feel like you can maintain without expending too much energy, without getting worn out. A sense that you can maintain this stable state for a while. So if you are slowly spinning in a circle, if you are taking methodical dance steps that you can do over and over, this can get you into the right meditative state in order to be able to assess your own energy. And certainly, I suggest moving just because a lot of meditative traditions tell you you've got to do it in one single way in which you can't move. But certainly, if sitting on the floor cross-legged is the way that you get into your personal sense of where you're at that moment, establish your own stillness, then definitely do that. That's generally how I do it. I have a candle that I light. I sit in front of my altar. So having the objects that feel sacred to you, that are adding a great deal to your purpose and personality, having those things at hand can help you get into that state of stillness and establish the energy that feels most like how you are comfortable, how you feel refreshed and at one with yourself. We're not looking for perfection here. We're just looking for a move in that direction from how you feel when you're driving in traffic, you're working at your job, you are talking to people that you need to interact with, whether you want to or not. Those are our normal day-to-day interactions that stress us out, that make us feel like our energy is being pushed around. The point of this meditative state is to detach from that part of your life and create a space where you are maintaining a bubble that feels like yourself. I do want to make sure you understand that, there is a video on my channel about energetic protection that is a step in this direction. Energy work and maintenance requires that you've got some kind of a barrier between you and everything else around you. That's why I started with the protection video. Getting to know that barrier, understanding exactly what is on each side of it, is going to make a big difference in your energy work. Because unless you have a good sense of your own baseline of energy, and when you need to do energy work, you've got that standard of barrier set up between yourself and whatever is not yourself at the time, you are going to be breaching that barrier in order to allow some energy from what is outside of you in. So having a real clear sense of it, the line between you and the outside, that's going to allow you to feel that contrast, the tension between fresh energy that you bring in. It'll give you a clear feeling of what that energy is, as opposed to feeling like you're in a constant stream of new energies passing by you, whirling around all the time, perhaps affecting you. Without a barrier, you're going to be caught up in what's all around you all the time, which isn't necessarily a terrible or negative thing for a person who doesn't feel sensitive to these energies and who doesn't care to work with them consciously. But if you want to know what these things are, then you've got to have a clear sense of which ones are yours and which ones aren't. So whether you've seen the energy protection video or not, I strongly recommend that you watch it right after this one or soon after this one so that you can develop that skill as well. In any case, once you've found this place of stillness, just feeling that stillness, getting a clear sense of what's going on in the core of you. So feeling through the different parts of your body. Just thinking in that moment, how does my head feel? Do I feel a sense of space or pressure or moving energy that is outside the boundary of just my material head? Do I feel something going on inside my head? Do I have the inklings of a headache or sinus pressure? Calmly feeling through each part of your body. Usually in some orderly fashion. Some folks will go from extremities to center, or from center to extremities, from top to bottom. It's nice to have an order just so you can be sure that you're not missing anything. But also, it can reflect your spiritual or philosophical sensibilities. Do you start with the mind because you are formulating the concepts that will encapsulate the other parts of your body? That you want to start with consciousness and thought as the foundation for your spiritual knowledge and experience? Or do you start with your feet because you want to begin with what grounds you and attaches you to the earth and connects you to the energy of the world of soil, the world underneath that supports all of us? These choices will make a difference in your practice as you use them over and over again, and I would suggest that you try a few different ones to see what is right for you. Each person's energy settles differently within their body and in different situations. You've got to have a sense of exactly how yours works. In the same way that I can't tell you exactly how to use your own hands, because your finger joints have a different proportion and distance than mine, your hand is a different size than mine, the way that this complicated root of tendons works in your hand and wrist is probably different than mine. There are tiny differences that, if you emphasize them and lean into them, then you're going to discover incredible, unique potential in your sensitivities to energy and the way that you can interact with the world around you. If you're just trying to copy somebody else, you will get somewhere, but you may miss out on some of the unique things that only you can do if you are not carefully analyzing your own experience and finding confidence in your unique sense of energy interaction. So, first step is to find that place of stillness. Get a strong sense of who you are and how energy is flowing through your person. After you've done this a few times, every day is great. If you can only do it every week, time and space resources are different for everybody, I know, but practicing it on a regular basis, even after you feel like you're getting really good at this stuff, is going to make a big difference to you. Because every revelation of perception, every step that you make in refining the details in spiritual energy that are around you and that you're experiencing, it's only going to open up more opportunities for perception and understanding. There's really no end to this. So, just like in any field where skill is important and details matter, paying attention to the foundations, returning to this basic methodology of energy work is always going to be a useful thing. So once you've got yourself and you've got a strong sense of, again, your own energy flow, you've done this course of finding your stillness several times. After this, it's a good time to introduce another energy into your sphere and analyze it. Now, I expect you to be analyzing energy everywhere you go once you start getting the hang of this, and you may be doing it unconsciously anyway. Most people are. Remembering to do it consciously is different than just sort of feeling it as you go and then turning around or finding a moment of reflection and saying, oh, wait, now I can see how this energy was affecting me. The difference being that doing it in retrospect, you sort of can tell a story about what happened to you, whereas if in every situation that you get into, I mean, for me, literally every doorway I walk through, every time I am moving into a space that is influenced by energy that isn't me, which is anywhere I go, I'm taking a moment to analyze the energy that is there. And what I mean by that is, briefly, finding that place of stillness within me. For a moment, isolating myself and drawing me in. Easing the protective barriers that I have placed for myself. So relaxing my energy. Not fighting against what I feel around me. And picking out qualities of what I feel that are definitely not the familiar energy that I have brought within. So, when you go into new situations, when you meet new people, when something changes in a place that you go all the time, and you notice that change, take a moment to reflect on the energy of that change. what qualities would you assign to that energy? That's a good place to start, just to get some basic descriptors in your head about what you're feeling. And also associating those descriptions with other times you felt similar energy. In this way, you are building up a store of knowledge about energetic reflections. Once you're doing this regularly, my hope is that you've got a friend or even a few friends who are also interested in this way of perceiving the world. The more often that you are sharing those energetic perceptions with somebody else that you know well, the easier it's going to be for you to get clarity on what you're experiencing and how it compares to others. It is very important that you get your own subjective sense of contrast between this is my energy and this is what is outside of me and what I can perceive about it, where I expect that energy to go based on my experiences of similar energies that I have felt. So in a way, you're doing private experiments with energy, getting a sense of what their qualities are and what those qualities mean about how the energy can move. The more often that you do this, the more intuitively you're going to understand how energy around you is moving, how it may affect things and various people, and you will start to notice contrasts between, oh, well, I've got this kind of energy, that person is displaying this other very intense type of energy, and these people over here are creating a tension that they want the rest of us to join in on and participate in, but I can see how this person's energy that seems really intense, that I just can't really ignore, may create a disruption, may create something new within that tension once we start participating. And that's a pretty simple explanation of how you might notice these things once you start to develop this energetic perception. Doing it socially generally is going to be the most natural for most people. It seems that we humans are finely tuned to respond to one another's energy in a social sense, and that our ability to enter into social flow, or our tendency to kind of stand back and analyze it, that personal difference is going to make a big impact on how you participate energetically in various situations. So that's to say that if you're an introvert or an extrovert, a person who tends to like to organize others, or a person who prefers to have a course set out that they can follow and link up to others within, these factors are going to have a significant change in the way that you perceive energy compared to other people. And as you find yourself switching between those modes, if you're the kind of person who tends to behave differently in different circumstances, you're going to feel the energy around you in different ways based on the attitude and approach that you take to your social world. So starting with those social perceptions tends to be the easiest beginning point, but also because the practice begins with establishing stillness, identifying yourself, and understanding the contrast between you and what is around you. It's also great to go into natural environments like this, anywhere where there's a lot of life energy moving around, or mineral energy, water energy, wind energy, and getting a feel for what that is in that place at that time, how it is affecting you. And this also is going to help build up this store in your mind and in your heart and in your whole encyclopedia of experience that will help you to have more things to measure up with the energy that you're experiencing, these smaller twinges of energy, and the big flows that go on around us, as we are, in many ways, tiny creatures in a very large energetic experience. This energy work, this foundation of perceiving and analyzing the energy around you. From this basis, you are going to start to notice things that are special to your ability to perceive. You might start to be able to look at people and pick out how well their health is going at that time. You may even be able to start isolating parts of their body that you can say, well, there seems to be a blockage of energy in this person. You may notice that when some people are just really on and their confidence shows in more than their body language, but you can feel it in the energy that they are projecting from their entire system. You may find that you go into older buildings and there are a lot of emotions that you immediately experience, and you may be able to isolate which rooms or objects that those emotions are emanating from, because you can feel the residual energy that is built up in that place from other people's experiences and things that happen there. Energy work is the foundation of mystical, magical, spiritual perception. And that foundational skill, again, it works no matter what tradition you would like to be a part of and continue to build upon. So if you are Wiccan, if you find yourself drawn to Christian mysticism, if you are interested in Sufi mysticism, Taoism, any of these practices that utilize energy and think about energy flows are going to benefit from your consistent practice of foundational energy work. Well, I hope very much that this has been helpful. I hope that you'll leave me some questions and comments. I realize that I am just talking to a camera here, so the more information that you guys can give me about what you need to hear, what makes sense and what doesn't, the more helpful that I can be. Thank you very much for listening. If you are interested in tarot readings, more personal spiritual direction, I am available for that and can be contacted through my website, newelltarot.com. Have a fabulous day and good luck with everything. Take care.